Hey, T-Steppers. I know it's late. It's like 2 in the morning, I think. And I've been neglecting my Candace. So since I was awake, I was finishing up a Bathtub Chronicles. I said, well, let me go and get Candace out the way until I fall asleep, if that's all right with y'all. Trying to catch up with Candace. I think yesterday she mentioned the White House with Erika. It may be that. And she also Hunter Biden. So let me tap off into that for a minute before I fall asleep. Just so that I won't be far away from my Candace Owens updates and uploads. Just to see what she's talking about related to Trump. If that's all right. My tribal jazz, I'm digging it big time. But let me cut it down so that I can start with Candace and take my butt to bed. Hunter Biden. Definitely tied to what's going on in these political streets. My. Let's go, y'all. Let's check out Candace.
All right, you guys. Happy Monday. Look alive. Look alive. No, you are not dreaming. The trailer that you saw online is very real. Hunter Biden was in this house with Brigitte doll. So
With who?
we are officially living in upside down land, and I'm going to tell you guys how that came to be. Plus, Turning Point USA made another, a little blunder. In my view, the move they made over the weekend is basically just a confirmation that the video of Charlie Kirk appointing Erika Kirk as the CEO is fiction. It probably exists, but it's likely AI, according to me and people with brain cells. We feel like we've seen enough, okay? And on that note, Paramount's not so tactical. Their resident PR doofus, the #1 defender of Erika Kirk on the web, it turns out that he scored a payout from the Department of Defense in September, the same month that Charlie Kirk died. That's interesting, right? And people rightfully have some questions about that. Welcome back to Candace.
When you need physician-recommended non-binding socks, look no further than Diabetic Sock Club's cotton.
All right, let's begin with Hunter Biden, because how on earth did it happen, right? Woke up this morning, you expected a lot of things to go down. Mondays are typically the worst, but you did not expect Hunter Biden and Candace Owens. You did not expect that collision of human beings. And that is what is circulating online. Take a listen to our trailer.
So the FBI has had physical possession of Hunter Biden's laptop, which reportedly contains, well, a lot of disturbing material.
You have access to that actual laptop.
A jury found Hunter Biden guilty of 3 felony gun charges.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Oopsies. He lied. He pardoned a crackhead. Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show.
I've heard you call me a crackhead many times, and the truth of the matter is, I was a crackhead. The quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, you know what the laptop proved?
Charges.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Oopsies. He lied. He pardoned a crackhead.
Wow.
Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show.
I've heard you call me a crackhead many times, and the truth of the matter is, I was a crackhead. The quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, you know what the laptop proved?
That you were a crackhead.
There you go. My marriage fell apart, and it just started
I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Oopsies. He lied. You pardoned a crackhead. Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show.
I've heard you call me a crackhead many times, and the truth of the matter is, I was a crackhead. The quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, you know what the laptop proved?
It's bullcrap.
That you were a crackhead.
There you go. My marriage fell apart, and it just started a really, really dark cycle. My brother called me and said, this has got to stop. And it forced me into a choice. And the choice was, do I get out of bed and live, or do I die?
DC is corrupt. Politics is corrupt.
But something's changed, and it's not left or right. The DC elite of the left, they crushed my dad because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class. You know one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course, with the maitre d' being Jared Kushner.
Oh, my
The war in
volume was
Iran that they
down.
started, that every president before him
My
was
bad.
pressured.
I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Oopsies. He lied. You pardoned a crackhead. Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show.
I've heard you call me a crackhead many times, and the truth of the matter is, I was a crackhead. The quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, you know what the laptop proved?
That you were a crackhead.
There you go. My marriage fell apart, and it just started a really, really dark cycle. My brother called me and said, this has got to stop. And it forced me into a choice. And the choice was, do I get out of bed and live, or do I die?
DC is corrupt. Politics is corrupt.
But something's changed, and it's not left or right. The DC elite of the left, they crushed my dad because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class. You know one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course, with the maitre d' being Jared Kushner. The war in Iran that they started, that every president before him was pressured by the Israelis.
And I do think there was something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that everyone just sort of looked up.
He was never part of the Epstein class. You know one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course, with the maitre d' being Jared Kushner. War in Iran that they started.
So, the real estate part of the New World Order, Gaza Strip, is going to be Trump. Golf course. Okay, come on.
It's not left or right. The DC elite of the left, they crushed my dad because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class. You know one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course, with the maitre d' being Jared Kushner. The war in Iran that they started, that every president before him was pressured by the Israelis.
And I do think there was something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that everyone just sort of looked up.
These are the people that Charlie Kirk made. The level of disloyalty or fear, I don't know
Right.
what it is. And the criticism of you for asking the questions for someone who was like a brother to you, it's like, what the F are you talking about? I listen to you and I go, right on. The Acts of John, there is a thing that Christ says, you must learn to suffer as I do in order to be able not to suffer. And that is the greatest lesson of everything.
Get excited, you guys. It is real. It is not AI. It happened. He wanted to take Brigitte doll. I said, you can't take Brigitte doll. I would say that stranger things have happened, but maybe they actually haven't. Maybe they actually have. Maybe this is the strangest thing that's ever happened. And I don't want to give anything away. I can say confidently that in regards to this show, I think it will be one of top 2 most impactful interviews that we've ever done. And I am talking about, I would rank Phil Turney and the USS Liberty interview as number 1 most consequential. And I think the Hunter Biden interview is going to be number 2. I think you will be blown away. I can tell you how it came about. It was rather serendipitous. If you have been watching this show for a while, you know that back, I don't remember when it was, Hunter Biden gave an interview to Andrew Callahan that was kind of going viral. I watched it and I was just sort of like, what was that? Like, I wasn't expecting it, because it was refreshing in that we have been so gaslit over the last 2 years. Politicians just lying about everything. Oh, what do you mean, the Epstein files? Are we talking about the Epstein files? that when I saw him just owning the fact that he was a crackhead, I was like, well, there's something different. There is something different. He was going after George Clooney. He was going after his side, Jake Tapper. And I just thought, okay, he's obviously fed up and just done with politics in general and saying whatever. Anyway, I had made an effort way back then to try to get in touch. It didn't work. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at a dinner. I was speaking to somebody who I won't reveal who it was, but I was speaking to somebody at this dinner, and we were just having a chat. What's the best interview you've ever done? Easy. I said, Phil Turney. What would be your number one interview that you would want to do? That was the question that came my way. And I said, ooh, I don't know, because I don't do too many interviews. I'm not really itching to interview anyone because I'm so bored with politics. I'm just done with politics after the Charlie Kirk assassination. And then I said, you know what? Actually, I would rank Hunter Biden up there. I would rank Hunter Biden as top 3 interviews that I would like to do.
Wow.
Lo and behold, that person the next day called me and said, if you want to do it, we can make it happen next week. And I had no idea that they had communication with Hunter Biden or that they knew anybody that knew him. And sure enough, we made it happen. So, like I said, I don't want to give anything away. I think whatever you are guessing it's probably going to be flipped onto its head. I have no doubt that you are going to love this interview. It will drop this Thursday, and I very much look forward to all of the surrounding commentary. Moving on. So, or I should say, as you saw in the trailer, Hunter Biden and I did in fact discuss Charlie Kirk. Because it's weird. You didn't need Hunter Biden to tell you that it's weird. Everyone left and right all across the world knows it's weird. The Turning Point USA has a lot of money and they have a lot of power. And what happened over the weekend finally put Erika Kirk within a context that I can understand. Erika Kirk is the COVID vaccine. Okay? No one can debate this. I'm right. It's a fact. She has been introduced to the public with the exact same PR scripts, the exact same emotion, with the exact same global institutional governance and backing. Erika Kirk is the COVID vaccine, and we're now on the 4th booster. So that's 4th booster is like when everybody knows that they're lying, and they know that it's corrupt. And still, they're just going to keep attempting to force it upon the population, not just on the adults, but now on the kids, right? Club America is for high schoolers, and that's coming too. You're going to take her too. And just like COVID in the beginning, there was a global emergency, right? People were fearful. Charlie Kirk died, and the world felt uncertain. I didn't know who to look to. We're looking for some sort of an authority. People wanted to do their part and believe that they could come together. We wanted to believe the news media that we were all in this together and experiencing this pain of losing Charlie Kirk. Suddenly, a star is born. Instant stardom, a la Dr. Fauci. But this time, we've got Erika Kirk being foisted upon the public. And then things got weird. And they got weird pretty quickly, right? This is like nurses are doing TikTok dances, and we don't really know why. Erika starts making the evil eyes, and we're unsure. We're all in this together, turned into Turning Point is my family. People had questions about how quickly this was being rolled out, the vaccine, Erika Kirk. Like, really? Erika Kirk is going to be appointed the CEO and chairman this soon, a couple of days after? Doesn't she need time to grieve? Shouldn't she maybe take a beat? Go home, be with her kids? Right? Now, all of a sudden, they drop the influencers. Your feed is being filled with influencers, celebrities, politicians telling you to roll up your sleeves and take the Erika. Just take it. Take the Erika. You got Nicki Minaj. You got JD Vance up there lecturing you. You got President Trump. You've got Ben Shapiro. Take the Erika, dopes. But something in your gut is saying, this feels wrong. This feels too fast. You get a sense like they already had Erika ready somehow. Like she was already in the chamber before Charlie even passed. Right? You're starting to look at this. This picture just doesn't pass the gut check. Now the government is starting to get a little desperate. They see there's this fracture in trust. They've got a lot of money behind this thing. They're bringing in large corporations now, and they're offering you Krispy Kreme donuts. You guys remember that? Krispy Kreme donuts for free if you get the vaccine. Free beer.
Yeah.
Free marijuana joints. This is all real, these headlines. Free Super Bowl tickets. White Castle's dessert on a stick. That's weird. That one's White Castle invites all to celebrate their vaccines with complimentary dessert on a stick. Is White Castle doing dessert? It's going to be free. Same as Krispy Kreme donuts for free if you get the vaccine. Before Charlie even passed. Right? You're starting to look at this. This picture just doesn't pass the gut check. Now the government is starting to get a little desperate. They see there's this fracture in trust. They've got a lot of money behind this thing. They're bringing in large corporations now, and they're offering you Krispy Kreme donuts. You guys remember that? Krispy Kreme donuts for free if you get the vaccine. Free beer, free marijuana joints. This is all real, these headlines. Free Super Bowl tickets. White Castle's dessert on a stick. That's weird. That one's White Castle invites all to celebrate their vaccines with complimentary dessert on a stick. Is White Castle doing dessert? It's going to be free. St. Adams is giving you free beer. NFL, everybody's getting involved now if you accept the vaccine. Okay, Turning Point USA is now paying their chapter leaders to stay on board because everybody wants to quit. Suddenly, we're realizing that we're being targeted. And you're thinking, is this vaccine going to kill us all?
If you're planning on publishing a book this year, stop scrolling. There are only 4 real ways on how to publish a book, and most authors choose
Can
one
y'all hit
without
the like
actually
button,
understanding
please?
the difference. So if you've written a book or you're thinking about it, this is for...
Because
Hit
it's
the
safe
like
and
button.
effective is now suddenly she's a grieving widow. We hear it over and over and over again. Everyone keeps saying it, but it doesn't ring true. And they've got the journalists, the government, the military, the Zionists, they're all in cahoots again. And whenever this unholy alliance begins to collude to tell you that something or someone is okay, it's because that someone and something probably isn't. Okay, is that fair? I feel like that is historically accurate. What happens next is a few brave people step into the fold and they begin to ask the right questions. Hey, why do I feel like Erika Kirk is going to kill me every time she speaks? Why is she dressed like an assassin? What's with the glitter pants? What exactly is she doing inside of the drapery? And then when they ask those questions, the entire ecosystem comes down crashing, trying to destroy them. Because how dare you ask these sorts of questions? And then the final stage of COVID is when we begin catching our government in outright lies. That's where we are right now. We're like, hey, government, you said that if I got the vaccine, I wouldn't get COVID, but I got the vaccine, and then I got COVID twice. So what's up? And then the government, they don't like when you catch them out in lies, right? So when you catch them in something that they said, they then roll out the experts, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, to convince the public that even noticing the government lies and not just trusting them blindly is something that only a psychopath would do. Why would you not just trust us blindly? Only a narcissist would recognize that we, the government, are completely full of shit and making things up as we go along. Do you guys remember that? There were legitimate studies being done by psychiatrists and psychologists diagnosing people who simply said, no, thank you, you're lying regarding the vaccine. Here's an example. I'm showing you a real study. You don't remember what we lived through, guys. It was trauma.
Yes.
The study is entitled The Impact of the Dark Triad Personality Traits on COVID-19 Vaccination Uptake. And here we have highlighted. We add to a deeper understanding of vaccination hesitancy by identifying what drives primary vaccination and booster uptake, as well as adherence to simple preventative measures, such as physical distancing, by investigating the role of dark triad personality traits, Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy. Oh, okay. Specifically, individuals scoring high in psychopathy are associated with a lower likelihood of having received primary immunization. Guys, you're a psycho. If you question us, you're just a psycho. Again, this is exactly where we are at in the Erika Kirk story. We're asking to see evidence, noticing they have told us lies, and we're now getting diagnosed. And I just have to tee that up because I'm so amazed, jaw on the floor at what took place over the weekend, okay? So to back this up, obviously, we broke the story. We've been keeping the countdown here. As soon as I realized something was not right with this video, right, Erika Kirk carefully described to Megyn Kelly, right? She sat down with Megyn Kelly, talked about how Charlie Kirk, look at the tears in her eye, through many tears. She saw this video 3 weeks before he died. Charlie Kirk was in Aspen with some donors, and he said, if anything ever happens to me, if I die in 3 weeks, make Erika, my wife, the CEO and chairman of the company, right? We broke the story that that video is likely not authentic. People with direct knowledge tell me that, yes, certainly a question was asked, but the answer which Charlie gave was simply that he trusted his lieutenants at the company to figure things out in the event of his absence. His mind just was not there. So this would imply that Turning Point USA used AI tools to add a sentence that Charlie never said, handing the reins over, handing the reins of his company over to his wife. That was what that would have accomplished, right? Well, the scandal is now growing because after 46 long days and long nights of us asking Turning Point USA, specifically of us asking Blakey Neff to just release the footage, very easy ask, by the way, remember, they already released the audio. It was them. They told the story. They released the audio. No one said, hey, make that your walkout music, Erika. We want some audio of Charlie naming you the CEO. You released the audio, so it's not exactly a major ask to simply release the video component alongside with it, right? But no, 46 days, here we are. And they're feeling the pressure, so we're not going to let up on this. This is huge. Right? This could be, if we are correct and this was AI, and they thought through this, we could be looking at a motive. Plain and simple. We at least would understand how positively deranged his wife is. Plain and simple. So what do? They instead decided the next right step was to show the footage exclusively via a private screening, a secret private screening, to some journalists over at the Daily Mail.
Put this on. You have to tell me which one's the healthy version from Thrive, and then which one is like the bad version for you. Which one do you like better?
This one.
The Thrive one's better?
Is that Thrive?
That one's Thrive.
It's a lot cheesier.
It is. It has more flavor to it. Okay, next up, we're going to try this.
Those taste like exactly the same.
Next up, we're going to do this.
And this journalist, Charlie Spearing, look, no, not calling him out for anything. He probably just tried to verify the video, but he wrote an article. It says exclusive bombshell secret video of Charlie Kirk naming his true Turning Point successor days before the assassination. And so people thought the video must have been embedded in here. Of course it was not. The article is behind a paywall. People were upset they paid because they thought that we were going to see this video. What they actually got was essentially the claim that the scandal could now be put to rest because just trust the journalists have seen the footage. They describe how the journalists had seen the footage. Did they go on to receive a link onto Zoom and have Turning Point show them on a screen? Was it actually sent to them in a separate file? Did they fly out to Arizona for this screening? No, we don't get any information. Just trust the journalists. The quotations from this article are truly exceptional, okay? Because the first point they deliver, and you can kind of see this laced in between, is why does it even matter? And this isn't coming from Charlie. This is coming from, he's speaking to donors, people around Turning Point USA, the pastors that we trust the least, who are running Turning Point USA Faith. And we're like, oh my God, Charlie said it so many times, it doesn't even matter if the video exists. This is a direct quote from that article. Several Turning Point allies feel that too much attention has been focused on the video from Aspen and said it was always clear to them that Charlie had intended for Erika to lead the organization in his absence. One board member, who wished to remain anonymous, confirmed to the Daily Mail that he was personally involved with the personal, financial, and estate planning with the couple after they were married. And during those discussions, they made clear that if anything should happen to Kirk, his wife would be responsible for the organization that he had founded. Quote, Erika knows more about Charlie's feelings and emotions and where he wanted to bring Turning Point than anybody else out there, the board member said. The board already knew what the plan was, because they talked about it with Charlie. Everybody knew. Okay, end quote. So it was just an open secret, you guys. But for whatever reason, Charlie, who was a literal boy genius, did not think to simply put this in his corporate will. He had one, Turning Point USA. They had a corporate will. And that is what wills are for. What you will to happen after you pass. So we are to believe he just kept saying this over and over again, like, if anything happens to me, I just want Erika to take over this place. I just want Erika to take over this place. When it came down to the paperwork, he just skipped that part. Was Erika in the corporate will? Yeah. I'm told Erika actually was named and she inherited 10 million. That may or may not be correct. I didn't get a question on Turning Point USA, but I was told this very early on from someone on the inside. So he thought about Erika when he did his will
Right.
for her to get paid. Maybe it wasn't 10, who knows? I'm actually almost certain it was like 10 million. But for some reason, he didn't write that he wanted her to become the CEO. That feels like a bit of a miss. I don't buy it. It's BS. Okay? Elsewhere in the article, they explain that the reporters have seen the video, so I guess it's all good. Okay? Quote, video of the Aspen Donor Conference has never been released publicly, but the Daily Mail has been given exclusive access to screen the full video, report on its contents, and speak to individuals who were in the room in Aspen that day, as secrecy around the footage has become a major point of contention for critics of Turning Point and its new CEO, Erika Kirk. Oh, I have a question. Why can't they just release the footage? Oh, they have that in the article as well. The excuse that Turning Point provides for why they cannot release the footage themselves is because it would violate donor privacy. It reads, quote, while the public release of the video would prove Owens's suggestions of a fraud to be false, some of the organization believed good faith efforts would be rejected and the video would be weaponized. And on top of those concerns, the donor who asked the succession question does not want her question and identity revealed to the public. Sources within the organization told the Daily Mail. How's your fourth booster, guys? Not hitting the same, is it? When they say get the fourth booster, you're like, I don't want to, I feel like you're lying to me. So you can, apparently Turning Point USA can cut the clip for Erika to walk out to, and we don't hear the donor in it, but they can't do that. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to cut a clip so that we can just see Charlie answering the question. We're to believe that they don't know how to edit videos at all. It's literally what Turning Point does. That's the whole point of all of his speaking events and going on campuses. You're telling me they can't just black out the face of a donor and cut out the question? This is the reason that they're not going to release it. Now they're concerned. Good faith question. I'm not asking you for good faith. I'm not the one who told you to roll out the sad story to Megyn Kelly and then to have it be her walkout music as she accepted the glory of taking his role at AmFest. That wasn't me. That's your terrible PR ideas, and you're just getting clocked on it left and right because information, people are working together, and people have come to me both within and outside of your organization. We now know that you were meeting with a Hollywood AI company. What a free market organization would be doing, meeting with a Hollywood AI posthumous company. We make videos posthumously. It kind of makes you think back, by the way. Do you remember when Erika, when she was on the Charlie Kirk radio show the first time back, and she was like, we have 10 years of footage
Janet.
that nobody's seen. She actually said speeches that nobody's seen. My producer pointed out how stupid that is. How could there be speeches that nobody's seen? Was Charlie just like giving speeches in the mirror at home? You have speeches that nobody, with 10 years worth of, how is that possible? Were they planning on releasing some footage that was being created by like Hollywood companies that specialize in IA? Look, I'm not going to say anything bad about Charlie Spearing, the author of the piece. I'm sure he's a nice guy who is also just in no manner or way equipped to understand and assess whether or not what he is looking at is AI. Because AI can be uncanny. We all know this. You can go on the internet and you can see AI videos of me and people believe that they're real. I have a French channel. You guys know how bad my French is. It's terrible. Go to my French channel. It's perfect. I speak French better than a French person. And I have to, I can't even actually think through what they were expecting the response to this article to be. Like people were going to go, oh, okay, that's it. We trust the experts. No, as you can imagine, this appeal to non-existent journalistic authority immediately backfired badly, bigly, because, like I said, the literal trust the experts narrative has collapsed. Here are just some of the tweets of people reacting to this article and this video. This person responding to Blake Neff, why are you all acting like this is a sex tape or something? You released the audio. Why not the video? It's so odd. BTW, you lost the whole "we don't owe you anything" line when you enlisted a Daily Mail reporter to help dispel questions. You can't have it both ways. Another tweet, Erika posted a video of her kissing Charlie's dead hands. But this video crowning her the CEO is private? Shut up. Like, so true. Thank you, Courtney. You are correct. Last one. The reason nobody believes this video exists is because it would have been played right after Erika posting the video of her hanging over Charlie's dead body. Again, you guys don't get to play private now. I mean, you guys were just ringing Charlie for every single red cent you could have. We had tents up. You died under that tent. You want a selfie? That'll be $5, please. Thank you. Freedom shirts. He died in that shirt. Would you like a Freedom t-shirt? That'll be $50, please. Thank you. Merch, hats. Sales, numbers. Now all of a sudden it's, well, this is private. We introduced it, but this is private. And so what happens now? Well, every time you just get caught in a lie, diagnose away, right? I called out Blake Neff. He writes this long tweet thinking that this was the booyah boy Blake over here. I like that, booyah Blake. And it's never a booyah. It's never ever a booyah when it comes to Blake. It's just, you're gonna get booed, Blake. And he was like, oh, let me recap everything that happened with the Daily Mail reporter. He wrote this. Of course, no, the video is actually needed to prove Charlie wanted Erika to succeed him. Everyone who knew Charlie well and spent time around him knew this was the case. So the fact that he's just going to go ahead and say, no, the video is not even needed, is, again, they're just now gaslighting us, right? And then he says, Candace is now screaming that the video must be made using AI, exactly as I said she would. Candace has publicly accused the Mail of lying about contacting her. So he posted a screen grab. That was actually a mix-up. My PR just never forwarded the email. And like I said, I'm happy to have a conversation with the Daily Mail reporter. But again, he's always looking for a booyah. There's not one. Instead, what he got was an absolute ratio. People calling him out, as I just showed you some of these tweets, being like, no one believes you, Blake. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I said, the ratio here is exceptional. Like, pay attention to what people are saying. The people have spoken, Blake, and they are not on your side. Release the video and let us be the judge of who is lying about what. And Blake said, yeah, Candace, since I'm not a malignant narcissist, I don't actually care what my ratio is as long as I am speaking the truth rather than lies. But just to play along, quote, wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Well, Blake, I'm not sure which road you think you're on, buddy, but you might want to pull over and get some directions. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. What should our takeaway be here? Boys and girls, our takeaway should be Hunter Biden was smoking crack, but what's Blake's Neff excuse, right? What is Blake's excuse? What is Andrew Colbett's excuse? What is Erika Kirk's excuse for this buffoonery? Because that's what it is. It is buffoonery. How much longer can this go on before they stop? Right? For COVID, it took years before they finally admitted that the vaccines were not safe and effective. Is it going to be years before they acknowledge that the Grieving Widow Act has failed terribly? I don't know. We'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, there's always a new health scare making headlines, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to protect your health and stay ahead of it all. One thing that more people are focusing on right now is gut health, because your digestive system plays a major role in how you feel every day, from energy and focus to overall wellness. That's where Purge's Advanced Parasite Cleanse comes in as your essential line of defense. Countless chronic illnesses and diseases are all linked back to parasitic infection. Purge is a professional-grade, all-natural, and organic formula designed to hunt down and flush out the invaders that we encounter every single day. When you sign up for a subscription today, you'll get a free Toxi Binder, which is their premium toxic waste detox, included in your first subscription order. It is the ultimate one-two punch to clear out the dead parasites and the toxins that sit inside of your gut. So visit purgestore.com/Candace or use code Candace at checkout for 15% off your entire order, plus that free Toxi Binder with your first subscription shipment. That's purgestore.com/Candace. I also want to tell you guys about Beekeepers Naturals, because if you are a parent, you know summer has a way of throwing everyone off their normal routine. CVS and Walgreens. Okay, so Operation Warp Widow. That's what we're calling it. It's Erika Kirk. It's the vaccine. And last week we broke another huge story. Should be everywhere. It should be everywhere, but
Should
it's
be everywhere.
not. Because the institution is behind this girl. But I told you that about an hour after the quote-unquote shooting happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, this email went out, the language of the email regarding how they wanted Erika Kirk's I Want to Go Home video to be boosted. They wanted them to go out to the White House surrogates. They wanted to make sure that that video would be number one overnight when people woke up. They referred to Erika Kirk as their emotional asset. This was the emotional asset. A little soon. Aren't you concerned about what people are alive? Are people okay? Is the White House secure?
Tom
Why
Hawk,
are
did
we
you
worried
speak
about
coming in?
PR and Erika
Did you
Kirk?
hit the like button,
So I
sir?
broke this story, and a couple of interesting things happened. First and foremost, an Axios reporter by the name of Mark Caputo, tweeted this. He tweeted, quote, "The White House Military Office has no knowledge of the communications alleged in this post, and they did not authorize, draft, or publish the content in question. Any attribution to them is completely false." And then he wrote White House statement. Well, that's interesting. He then showed the alleged email he got from the White House press, and it says, just as he said, on background, the White House Military Office has no knowledge of the communications alleged in this post. Okay. And so immediately, right out of the gate, of course, Andrew Colvett, Nakey Neff, never one to be left behind, and Graham Allen. I don't know who's more of a doofus, Graham Allen or Paramount Tactical. It's tough. But they were so excited, they tried to push this Axios report, and let's listen to what they said.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, the thing I went after the most is anytime Candace has any kind of evidence of any kind, all watermarks are removed, all email names are removed, and what I love the most is
So
of
dumb.
everyone who was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and this is no disrespect to you or Erika Kirk in any way, but you guys were plotting and controlling the whole event, according to Candace Owens. So you've got the president there, the vice president, secretary of state, secretary of war, the whole line of succession for the presidency. But it was you guys who were running and pulling the strings to hoax this entire thing. And what I love more than anything else was Candace going on this, because this is what she does. She says something, people listen. Not very smart people listen, but people do listen. And then where's the evidence? Oh, well, the evidence, something happened and now we don't have it. But what I'll do is I will retype the most pertinent information. So the screenshot that she put up there about this whole conspiracy to boost Erika's, as she calls it, the I Want to Go Home video. Even in her description, she says, this is not the email. I retyped what I viewed to be the most important points of all of this. And then I commented and I said, this is the most made up thing I've ever seen in my life. And then she never provides any type of truth, any type of anything in that regard. And so I really hope the White House does respond. I would love nothing more.
They did, Graham. Actually, so I think we have.
Missed it. I missed it.
We
You're
have
telling me
their
something.
response.
Bring it up. Show it to me.
The White House Military Office has no knowledge of the communications alleged in this post, and they did not authorize, draft, or publish the content in question. Any attribution to them is completely false.
Completely false. Wow.
White House.
Wow. Love it.
Completely
love
false.
It, love it. Love it.
That was from
and here's what
Axios
Candace
reporter
will
Mark
say.
Caputo.
All right, dumb and dumberer, we get it. So this is interesting because instantly, if you just can cut through all of this PR nonsense, the first thing I said is like, why are you guys pretending you have to rely on Axios reporter? You're like boys with Kash Patel. You got VP Vance on the road with Erika Kirk. You guys are on a first name text basis. Okay, you didn't have to go through or check an Axios reporter to know whether or not the story was true. And if it wasn't true, let's be honest, it's Candace Owens. Wall-to-wall coverage. Candace Owens got hoaxed. Fell for a hoax. Somebody pretended this email wasn't real. This lets you know something's real, right? Andrew Colvett's on the case, and they're giddy about some Axios reporters' tweet, not doing any due diligence on their own when they have the ability to. So I said, okay, let's play a game. I'm going to email the White House. First off, just to confirm, which I didn't think the Axios reporter was lying, but I just, had my producer email the White House and ask, did this email go out from the White House military office? And they instantly came back. When I say instant, I want to be clear. They came back in 4.5 minutes, okay? 4.5 minutes, they instantly replied, exact same language. If you want to go back to that language that they use, the White House military office has no recollection of this email, or actually, let me be very precise here so as not to put words. Here it is. The White House military office has no knowledge of the communications alleged in this post, and they did not authorize, draft, or publish the content in question. Any attribution to them is completely false. Now, I'm a pretty confident person. I do my due diligence. I knew the email was real. So I said, what am I missing here? Wow, that's an oddly specific response. It's very specific. Pull it back up for a second. The White House military office has no knowledge. Any attribution to them is completely false. Feels to me like a little PR maneuvering. Did I get the sender wrong? And then I said, well, it's certainly possible because it was a distribution email that sent it. It was a distribution list, and that's what you see in the sender, and then you can see who it went to. So it's entirely plausible that the White House military office did not send the email. So I decided to instantly go back to them. So glad they answered quickly. Here's what we wrote back. I wrote back, thank you for the prompt response. Attribution aside, are you claiming that an email was not sent or received at all on the evening of April 25th with Stephen Chong, Richard Smalley, and Ryan Ripien carbon copied with the below language in part? Addendum, Erika Kirk video clip of Erika Kirk leaving the ballroom area and stating, I just want to go home is driving the highest organic engagement of all incident-related content across platforms. Our current digital assessment, strongest emotional response, high cross-ideological circulation, elevated repost, you get it. And then I wrote at the bottom here, for extra clarity, are you saying the email does not exist and was not sent or received by this administration? Thank you again, Candace Owens. And would you know, I've been ghosted since. The devil's in the details, you guys. The devil is always in the details. And of course, the White House military office, it looks like, did not send that email. No more than Clinton had sexual relations with that female, okay? But this email, it was sent. It was received. Any journalist could simply ask that question, make it more broad, because I really think that they're telling the truth, and the White House military office did not send it. Somebody on their distribution list, maybe it was a journalist that was operating it, who had access to it, to the distribution list. I don't know how the inner workings of who controls the email is, but I know that the email got sent, that the parties that I mentioned were true. To be clear, I also CC'd Richard Smalley, I CC'd Ryan Ripien for good measure, I CC'd the White House press office. I added more people to that second email so that there's no confusion about what I'm talking about. Is the email real, yes or no? I'm ghosted. You think I wouldn't be clever enough to see through PR? Come on, man. Come on. Worst PR ever. You said White House military office too many times. That was the tell. Just so you guys know, so you can edit for next time. So we'll keep pushing on that too. We will keep pushing on that because it feels like something. It feels like it could be the thread, the whole tapestry just begins to become undone. Was it staged? Well, certainly the PR after seems to have been a little bit. We'll find out. Speaking of bad publicity, Paramount Not So Tactical, apparently, I was not aware of this, is being paid or was paid in a large lump sum by the Department of Defense, dated 14 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Would you know? How weird that Brian Harple chooses this obscure YouTuber to give an interview to. We were all going, that's kind of weird, right? And then all of a sudden, Turning Point USA is just platforming him, giving him alibis. I'm actual friend of Charlie Kirk asking, hey man, what's going on here? They're sliding him kids that are not Erika's to a guy that doesn't even understand what an alibi is. He's like, why does it matter if it's her kids? Why does it matter if she's in the photo? It's her alibi, isn't it? Well, I don't want to explain that to you, Gary, because this is not a preschool, okay? You need to understand by yourself why that alibi doesn't work if they're not Erika's kids. I want you to get there by yourself, Gary. Anyway, the receipts are here. On September 24, 2025, he received $39,000 for individual equipment. And then On September 29th, 5 days later, he received $151,000 for night vision equipment. That seems weird. Does that seem weird to you? The Department of Defense decided to just give him that sort of money? Because we went to his website, and maybe I'm missing something. I've never claimed to be a military guy. In fact, people like Gary kind of scare me. Like dumb people with guns, not a great thing. When you go on his website, he doesn't make his own gear. So you would think that if the Department of Defense needed night vision goggles, they'd go to someone who makes them, the actual manufacturer. You get a better price if you did that, rather than going to a third-party site run by an idiot named Gary Melton to buy the equipment. That seems weird. The timing's weird. It's suspicious. It is what it is. I just thought that I would let you guys know that that's been going around, and we fact-checked it, and it is true. So there's a lot of that going around. Remember, our decoy boy number 2, his dad, too, got a massive contract
Wait a minute,
with the Department of Defense. Built at. That seems weird.
Tyler Robinson.
Does that seem weird to you? The Department of Defense decided to just give him that sort of money? Because we went to his website, and maybe I'm missing something. I've never claimed to be a military guy. In fact, people like Gary kind of scare me. Like dumb people with guns, not a great thing. When you go on his website, he doesn't make his own gear. So you would think that if the Department of Defense needed night vision goggles, they'd go to someone who makes them, the actual manufacturer. You get a better price if you did that, rather than going to a third-party site run by an idiot named Gary Melton to buy the equipment. That seems weird. The timing's weird. It's suspicious. It is what it is. I just thought that I would let you guys know that that's been going around, and we fact-checked it, and it is true. So there's a lot of that going around. Remember, our decoy boy number 2, his dad, too, got a massive contract with the Department of Defense. Built app. Massive contract. Right leading up to Charlie's death. Fascinating. Anyway, lastly, to leave you guys on a very happy note. I'm happy today in general, but this fan of mine, a small fan of mine, apparently really loves the midget horse, and she was pestering her mother to bring back up the midget horse that Ben Shapiro rides around Nashville on. And I'm going to show you this video because it's positively adorable. Take a look at this.
What did you just say?
Can you go to that part where the person's on my face like this?
Oh. Are you talking about that guy right there? Ben Shapiro?
Okay, first off, this girl nailed it. Can we show you the side-by-side right now? I mean, come on. So we are going to send this girl, we're going to figure out who this is, and send her some kit, because we all love a midget horse, even if it's being overworked by a temperamental little man on top of it. But that just totally made my day when I saw that. I was like, she is positively adorable. So if she's watching, and I'm sure she is, we can't get you a midget horse, but we can absolutely send you some kit. So we're going to do that. All right, you guys, will take a brief break, and then we'll read some comments. All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes? Have you America's Home for home loans? All right, you guys, top comments from last Thursday's episode. Jean-Michel writes, a rebrand is needed because they are not data centers. They are surveillance centers. And I totally agree with you. It just doesn't make sense to me that this is for AI or for ChatGPT. That it seems to be the pretense. And they, I think Kevin O'Leary was actually quite honest with Tucker about what they're trying to achieve. We want to be China. We want to surveil you. Navy B writes, truth becomes treason in an empire of lies. That is a quote from Dr. Ron Paul. That is correct. We are all being treated as though we are treasonous for not accepting all of the lies of this empire. But persist we must. We, a lot of us have children. We don't want them to grow up in the society that we can all see so forthcoming. Michael Jester, this is from today's episode, writes, they are literally so stupid. Only strategy they have is out of the narcissist's handbook, smear campaigns, using DARVO tactics. For those of you that don't know, that stands for deny, attack, and then reverse the victim and the offender for damage control instead of thinking ahead to pull off this murder. But the paper trails galore, zero brain cells there. Idiots, thank goodness, do better. Ali writes, the excuse for her being CEO was, quote, to honor her husband's legacy. If I wanted to dishonor his legacy, I would sit down with Barry Weiss and affirm his support for Israel after he was sick of their bullying and abandoned them and play dumb on Iran. Don't you go thinking, Ali. Don't you go thinking. We don't need you thinking. We have experts over at the Daily Mail that are better suited to explain to you why it's cool to reverse course and everything that Charlie wanted, and to pretend that you don't know what his position was on war in the Middle East because he's not here, and to also wipe away his legacy by deleting the old catalog of all of the footage of Charlie speaking on college campuses. It seems very odd if you want to honor his legacy to sort of make him go away. Violet Ragdoll writes, the way Turning Point USA has done a complete 180 of Charlie Kirk's values and where he was taking the organization while gaslighting the public for calling them out on it and continuing to double down is derangement syndrome. Yes. And thinking that it's going to go away. That's why I'm using this analogy of COVID, because it didn't stop, right? More and more people just woke up to it. And that's where we're at right now. We're up against the same organs. We've got the media, we've got the government, we've got the military, and they're all colluding and trying to tell us that we are the crazy ones, that we are the psychos. But obviously they are the psychos. It's so clear. That, like, trying to normalize things that are just so abundantly abnormal. 6 days after your husband's assassinated, the emojis. The emojis, that's what it took to turn your frown upside down. They're cute emojis, like you've never done a chat before and seen emojis. Like, I mean, just very odd behavior that the public is not going to forget. So what is your next move? What is your next move? We don't accept the booster. We don't accept Erika Kirk. Is this the best you got? Blakey Neff? Blakey Fakey Neff? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work. Truth Prevail writes, everyone hating right now for you interviewing Hunter Biden is most likely still boot-looking Trump by proxy BB. They don't realize it's no longer right versus left. Keep going, Max Crisis King. I love a trailer that causes a meltdown. You guys know that. I'm immature in that way. I love it. I love the screams and people going, how dare you speak to someone on the left? I will speak to whoever I want. Nobody puts me in a box. And like I said, I think the interview is going to be explosive and it's going to change some lives, certainly going to change some perspectives. Obviously, the surface view that some people are taking is, look, she's a Democrat. Maybe you guys didn't hear me when I said I am done voting until the Charlie Kirk assassination is solved, because it is a deep, deep, deep-rooted betrayal by the Trump administration, by Eric, by Don, by Laura, by the people he was friends with, by Kash Patel, by J.D. Vance, all of them. So I don't work for them. I'm not going to keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Olivera Cirillo writes, our girl is about to break the internet. Let's go, Candace. Love from Sydney, Australia. Someday I will not be banned and we'll be able to visit Australia. That day is not today. Thank you for your support anyway. Melissa writes, I got Magic Mountain tickets and a $50 Visa card for my COVID shots. And I still got COVID, but not as bad as most. You got Magic Mountain tickets? That's actually pretty cool. Is that still going around? Is that a deal still? Maybe I'll roll up my sleeve and get the vaccine. Would you get the Erika, though, for Magic Mountain tickets and $50 Visa card, or would you want a little more? What could they offer you
Nothing.
to take the Erika? You thought about that? I never thought about that until right now. What could they, because everybody has a price, right? Like, to roll up, they Six Flags tickets, is it Disney World tickets? Cancun tickets, overseas European tour. For me, I feel like if they just like let me see his phone and her phone and drop that video, I could get there. If you'd let me see the video of Charlie appointing her as CEO, I would roll up my sleeve and I would take the Erika. And you know what? Sprinkle some Krispy Kreme donuts too. I want the Krispy Kreme donuts. Bring those back. Guys, we are being ruled by maniacs. I still can't believe we lived through that. A trip down memory lane. Anyways, if you would like to support our podcast, we are not supported by corporations.
Okay, y'all,
We are not.
I'm out. I'm going to sleep. Good night. Thank you.